I've gathered you all here today to bid a not-so-fond farewell to an era that has ruined dating for an entire generation, issued us into a sexless era, enabled the most emotionally inept to emotionally terrorize in prolific amounts. Thank you. Yes. This moment, may it not be bittersweet, has shaped us all profoundly, and 'tis only right that we offer the age of dating apps their proper burial. Oh, the labyrinth of modern love. These apps were the digital pimps. I'm wingmen. Sorry, that must have been a typo. I swear I didn't write that. Working tirelessly to serve us love. Though, it wasn't usually love, was it? It was, usually just discussion topics for therapy, but sometimes it would last years at a time, so really, when you think about it, it was quite generous. They were quite generous. Are you almost done? Let us not forget the musings of those who really, truly made the app so fertile.
I'm looking for a girl who doesn't take herself too seriously.
The hallmark of a good relationship is a perfect flirt-to-roast ratio. Together, we could make up a fake story about how we met. And of course, last but certainly not least, the worst idea I've ever had was downloading this app. So everyone, please let us raise a toast. Can someone, I need a fucking, give me a glass. Let us raise a toast to the death of dating apps. I've been preying on their downfall for like 2 years now, and I fear we're here. I fear we have completely arrived to the death, the complete downfall of dating apps. I've lived in New York City for the last 9 years, and over the last 9 years, I have known more people on dating apps than not. There were even periods where the only people I knew that weren't on dating apps were people in long-term relationships. Now, we have reached a time, an unprecedented era, where I don't know a single person that is regularly using dating apps to date. And I threw the word regularly in there because I feel like re-downloading an app just to stare at it for a month and be like, oh my God, fuck this, and delete it again doesn't really count. But in the last like 2 years, I would say, there's been such a significant decrease even in my own direct community. When I was in college, it really felt like dating apps were the only way to date, which I understand is probably not how most people in college feel. I think a lot of people feel like college is the only place to date, but I went to a college that was pretty much exclusively arts majors, and it was very intensely gay, and at that time, I was not openly bisexual. Though I was on dating apps for both men and women at that time, and I was actually caught by my friends at one point, which, you know what, they probably could have approached me better about this. But my friends at the time were like, that's so weird. I saw your profile on Hinge for women or on Tinder for women. And I was like, that's so crazy. Must be a glitch or something. But even with people who have had different college dating experiences than I have, dating apps are obviously still playing a really primary role in how people date in the modern age. And throughout my time on dating apps, I found that the number one thing that contributed to my own personal dating fatigue and ultimately pushed me off of the apps in the end was the repetitiveness of coming across very emotionally immature potential partners. People with a lack of an emotional toolkit when it came to building intimacy. I mean, if you guys regularly watch my videos, you know this. I did a year of no dating in 2021 because I wanted to really reckon with my brain and the way that dating impacted me, what I wanted out of dating, how to communicate that, just getting closer to myself at my core. That year changed my life. And the year back to dating afterwards also changed my life. And the 2 years that I've spent after both of those years have been so much more peaceful as a whole. And if you're putting these timelines together, you'll realize that the past 2 years have also been the 2 years that I've been preying on the downfall of dating apps. I had an awakening. it's over for you bitches. Trust is basically non-existent on these apps. In a survey ran by Forbes, now this statistic might be interesting to some of you, 12% of people admitted to lying about their height on their dating apps. But what is more interesting to me is that 21% of people admitting to lying about their age, 14% about their income or hobbies, and 13% about their employment, dating history, and current relationship status. You mean to tell me that I've got a little over a 1 in 10 chance of coming across a cheater on these fucking apps? Those aren't great odds. Those are really fucking terrible odds. And you know what? That checks out with my own experiences. 1 in 10 people on a dating app are cheating. Additionally, in the same survey ran by Forbes, the results suggested that the number of individuals seeking a serious relationship via dating apps is actually quite high. This is their words. Nearly half of respondents reported a long-term connection was their goal when using dating apps, with Gen Z a bit more focused on this goal than other generations at 52%. Meanwhile, 49% of millennials reported looking for a long-term relationship. I don't know about you guys, 50% is not good enough odds for me. Here I was, the amount of people that I would like to fight, going on dating apps, earnestly trying to find a connection, and only 50% of people on those apps are also looking for the same thing as me. How many of them do I vibe with, and how many of them also vibe with me? Oh God, guys, the numbers are not good. They're not good. 20% reported they prefer casual dates with just one partner, and 12% desire the same with multiple partners. But then I start to get confused because then they say 10% are interested in a friends with benefits scenario. I'm very confused what some of y'all mean when you say I'm interested in casual dates. I've said this like 100 fucking times and I'll say it again. Anyone looking for a long-term relationship is not looking to be in a long-term relationship on the first day that you fucking meet them. They're also looking to go on casual dates to figure out if you actually have a fucking connection. Some of you are dumb. Some of you are just, and then 9%, this is still way too high. 9% of people said they're interested in using dating apps for friendship. Friendship. First of all, no one is using dating apps to find a friend. And if your partner is telling you they're on dating apps to find a friend, they're cheating on you. Second of all, I found it very interesting the way they tried to frame it as though 50% was high. 50% of people on a dating app do want to date. Hello? Those odds aren't great to me. Those are not looking good. If you're telling me right now that you are 50% a dating app, 50% hookup app, how are we calling you a dating app still? I'm not loving those odds, people. But is it surprising to me? No. I mean, the echoed truth among women, at least in New York City, is that most people on them are looking for casual hookups. Even the people that have on their profile listed that they're looking for a long-term relationship often are only actually in practice looking for casual hookups. So really, it's no wonder that so many people that have used the apps looking for a genuine connection are absolutely fucking done with them. Let's take a pause here because this is my latest favorite matcha. Strawberry cold foam iced matcha latte with oat milk from Sips in Bushwick. Very fucking good. But also, let's take a pause here. Remember that this is actually a celebration of sorts. In my critique of dating apps, I want to be clear that I actually don't really give a fuck about dating apps. I haven't been on them for a year and a half now. I don't think about them. The only time it truly enters my brain space is when one of my friends is like, do you think I should re-download dating apps? And I'm like, no, please God, no. I think I've had a lot of personal reflections that led me to making the decision to not only delete the apps, but potentially swear them off for life, which I will get to at some point in this video. But I think a large part of why I stopped wanting to be on the apps at all is because I created a very rich inner life for myself. And I stopped waiting for love to do all of the things that I said I wanted to do. I took myself on a romantic solo trip to Paris. I made myself flower arrangements, cooked myself fancy dinners, take myself out on solo dates all the time. May it just be to grab a matcha in the middle of my workday. That counts. That's something. I know I'm a broken record, but really, I think that everyone wins. Everyone benefits when you get good at solitude, when you get good at being single, when you get good at being alone, when you find strength in your independence. Everyone wins. Everyone. Think of all the things that you want to do that you haven't done because you're waiting for someone else to do it with you. Not that there's a problem in wanting community and wanting companionship, but I don't think that that should be the reason that stops you from doing the things that you want to do. So thank God today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek, so y'all can get in there and secure some concert tickets for your next holiday. SeatGeek has tickets to every hot event going on in your area. May I shout out the fact that Charlie XCX and Troye Sivan are about to embark on their historic Sweat Tour. Be there, mama, I'm warning you. You are gonna wish you went. And everyone watching this video, even if you've used SeatGeek before, can use my code Maddie10 for 10% off your next purchase at SeatGeek. Sports, concerts, Broadway shows, festivals, you name it, they have it on SeatGeek. Each ticket and the price that it's set at is rated on a scale from 1 to 10. Green means good, red means bad. And again, no matter how many times you have used SeatGeek in the past, if you use code Maddie10, you will get 10% off your next purchase at SeatGeek. So please take advantage of this. I know you're all gonna end up going to a concert at some point. Take this code, put it in your account. Just open up your phone, open up the SeatGeek app, and add code Maddie10 to your account for 10% off your next SeatGeek purchase. I also just feel like it's bad for your brain. I know, and this is when I'm gonna start sounding like a fucking boomer, but I really do think this. There's high highs and low lows. You get addicted to the immediate physical affirmation, momentary fleeting affection that comes and gives you an ego boost and then leaves just as quickly as it came. I think over time, people start to feel like they have an obligation to swipe, or it means they're not trying. How can I expect to find someone if I'm not constantly on my phone, submitting myself to this algorithm that really has no intention of helping me find love in the first place? I also think the endless pool of people to swipe through doesn't end well for multiple reasons. Number one, someone better could be one swipe away. You just never know. Why settle down with one person when someone even better could be one swipe away? While simultaneously, there's this pressure to snatch someone up before someone else gets them. There's this idea that all of the good ones are taken, and so you're just sort of like fighting for scraps at this point, which is an insane sentiment to be being passed around among 20-somethings. Hello? I just overall think it was a bad fucking idea to gamify the search for companionship. I don't think that was ever gonna end well. There was never a world where swiping through an internet stack of real human people into hot or not was gonna end well for us. We are fucking brain broken. We are existing in a brain broken generation when it comes to romance and intimacy. And now there's new dating apps coming out that are sort of leaning into the gamified nature of dating apps. There's one, I believe it's called Date Like Goblins, that is literally for gamers. You can put time on somebody else's calendar to play a game together and talk on Discord. And there's been, you know, a bunch of more niche dating apps come out over the years, but they never get as much traction as Tinder or Hinge or Bumble. And I don't know if they ever will. And even if they did, I'm just not buying into the effectiveness of a dating app when it comes to something as emotionally complex as a long-term relationship. I just don't know if I believe that this is ever gonna be a great method. Now, of course, relationships do come off the apps. There's plenty of people that are together because of the apps, but I think they are largely in the minority, and it requires a very strong stroke of luck to even fall into that camp momentarily. Additionally, and I really hate to say this, but I do think the apps tend to attract a more avoidantly attached crowd. I think the fleeting intimacy, the temporary ego boost, can really be used as a distraction and result in falling deeper into avoidance, which I think also contributes to why there's such a discrepancy between people who say they're looking for a relationship and people who actually are looking for a relationship. And this is not even beginning to touch on the fact that these apps do not give a fuck about love. They give a shit about finding out how to get people to stay on their apps as long as possible and feel desperate enough to subscribe to their higher tiered paid options. And we already knew these apps didn't actually give a shit about finding people love, but when they started talking about introducing AI dating coaches, the jig was up. We fucking knew. Match Group and Bumble, which hold basically the entire major industry of dating apps, have lost $40 billion in the last 3 years. They're going down, baby. And I'm tap dancing on their grave. And when these dating apps are asked, oh, like, why do you think there's been such a drop off? They give you a very to the point, like business answer, which is that young people aren't willing to pay for the subscription to these dating apps. But can you blame them? Can you fucking blame them? So no, I mean, I think people have figured out at this point that yes, the app gives you more filterability if you pay the subscription price, but you don't actually have a better experience on the app at all. You just get to spend more time on the app. And this time you believe that you're having a better experience. It's all about acting. I'm acting. Oh. Now this is a whole video in and of itself, but obviously the pursuit of sex is a major reason why these dating apps were even able to become so successful in the first place. And to be honest with you, I don't even know why I'm still calling them dating apps, because I don't know if I personally believe that dating apps have ever existed. I think they've sort of always been hookup apps that some people have just gotten lucky on. There's nothing about the experience of being on these apps that indicates the people that run them really give a shit about finding people connections. Also, I just feel like over time, the culture around sex on these apps has become increasingly more aggressive. Seeing what was sent not only to me, but to all of my friends, I feel over time has just painted a very bleak image of what it's like to exist as a woman on dating apps. There's something to be said about the collective fatigue of observing these patterns, not only in your own dating life, but in the dating lives of everyone you know. Does it sometimes make you feel relieved to learn that you're not alone and you're not crazy and other people are dealing with this shit too? Absolutely. But is there also some kind of hopelessness that comes from learning it's not just you? For sure, that also. So I think all of what I just said is really the reason why I have removed myself off of dating apps. The last time I have been on a date with someone off of a dating app was April 2023. I deleted the apps entirely June 2023. I did re-download them at some point, but I did not swipe while they were re-downloaded. And obviously I never went on a date with anyone else. So I've been effectively off dating apps for a year and some change. And I don't see myself going back anytime soon or ever, if I'm being totally honest. It feels like a big thing to say, like, oh, I'm never ever going on dating apps ever again. But I don't foresee a time where I will feel differently. I feel like I've sort of passed the point of no return with my relationship to dating apps. I think I've also realized that the potency of my feelings isn't as strong without the natural ramp up period that dating apps removes. There is something to be said for meeting someone in real life, may it be through a friend of a friend at some type of social event like trivia. I play trivia every Wednesday. Through your work, though that might not be feasible for some people, but like for me, that could totally happen. The process of meeting someone via happenstance in your real life and slowly developing feelings over time before deciding if you want to make a move or not is fun. It's awesome. And I think without that, I honestly enjoy the dating process less, and my feelings aren't as strong. I mean, dating apps by nature are running off of superficiality in a way that most of us, at least, don't function in our everyday lives. I see a lot of hot people everywhere. New York is full of hot people. Hotness alone is not enough to strike my interest in someone. Comparing how I have felt, comparing my recent offline crushes to previous online crushes, there just is really no fucking comparison. Now, does me deciding that I'm done with dating apps mean that I haven't felt the urge to re-download them? Absolutely not. I have felt that urge at several points, though I will say it is less often than you might think it is. I think over the past, I can't remember that far back, but I want to say over the past 4 months, I've only felt that urge twice, and it was fleeting both times. And I think the reason why it's fleeting now is because I understand that those urges only come up only exists as a way to satisfy my ego or give me some type of confidence boost in moments where I'm feeling sad or lonely or insecure. My desire to re-download dating apps doesn't come from like an empowered place. My desire to re-download dating apps only pops up when I'm having like a really shitty day. So what does that say about dating apps as a whole? And when I was younger, I used to feel so like strapped for time, which is funny because we have so much of it. But when I was younger, I really felt like, oh my God, I need to date someone. I don't know why I felt this way because I don't want kids and my lifestyle in general is pretty non-traditional. I live in a city where people don't usually get married and settle down young. Like, there's nothing about my wants and desires or my immediate environment that would bring that kind of pressure on to me, but I felt that way nonetheless. And maybe that had to do with me feeling embarrassed or discontent in my singlehood, me not having a great relationship with myself as an individual, self-esteem issues, me feeling shamed by other people for being single for so long. All of these things don't really impact me at all anymore. So I think how I've been sitting with it now is just like, I'm 27. That is young. I have all the time in the world to meet the right person, and I think the urgency that dating apps have instilled in us to find the right person before someone else scoops up your right person first is just tired at this point. I think also this has a major connection to my shifting relationship with sex, which again is a whole video in and of itself. But since I came to the conclusion that I am not interested in casual sex, that I only want to indulge in sex with someone that I can really trust and build something with long term, because I don't have any craving for like temporary companionship, it's almost like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, because I'm like, well, what is the point really in me torturing myself by being on these apps where the numbers are not good, the data not in my favor for what I'm looking for? Why put myself through that, force myself to endure dating in the wrong pool over and over again, letting that penetrate my own self-esteem and self-image in a negative way, when like I could meet the right person for me 10 years from now, fall in love with them, be with them for the rest of my life, and like, do I want to spend every day between now and then miserable when I could just simply not be? When I could just simply mind my fucking business, do what I need to do for me, focus on enriching my own life, pursue crushes that come across me via happenstance in my real life, and just let whatever's supposed to happen happen. I guess I just don't care anymore. Maybe I'll meet the right person for me when I'm 50 fucking 2. And you know what I would love? If I could just enjoy myself, my rich inner life between now and 52. I'm just not in a rush, I guess. And I just don't know how much being on dating apps is actually serving me or anybody looking for something similar to what I'm looking for, because it's pretty much been proven at this point that what we are looking for is just not really that plentiful on those apps. And I don't think there's anything special about the way that I'm feeling. I think that dating apps are dead. I think that most people feel this way. People are tired of the bullshit, they're tired of swipe culture, they're tired of hookup culture, and they would rather stay single and protect their peace for longer and wait for the right person to become clear. Who knows? You can meet someone through a friend of a friend's boyfriend's friend, trivia night, queer line dancing, which I've been saying for months, but I really have been meaning to get myself there. Dance class. To those of you that do pickleball or run clubs like that, I've heard that's cool for you guys. And if you wanted to go do some more in-person dating activities, you could go to speed dating, singles nights. Alamo Drafthouse did one recently, and I was like, will that attract the crowd that I want? I really don't know. Do I live at the Alamo Drafthouse? Yes. Do I want to date someone else that also lives at the Alamo Drafthouse? This is where things get dicey. Or, you know, leaving it completely up to chance. There's so many different ways that you could potentially meet the love of your life. And I actually think my best tip for flirting with people in person is to stop worrying about how to flirt with that person. Just talk to them the same way you would any normal person. You see someone cutie out at trivia night and you want to go say hello, do that. Approach them from like a friendly perspective, see if there's a vibe. And I feel like the flirting just sort of comes naturally when you get that little sparkle in your eye. But really all you gotta do is remain open. Stop picking up your phone when you're in public with nothing to do or say. Let yourself sit in silence and just push yourself to engage with strangers a little bit more on a friendly level. I'm telling you, you do not need to be going out of your house on a mission to flirt. It just happens. But even beyond transitioning our dating lives from something that's happening primarily online to something that's happening primarily offline, I think it's also just good to celebrate your singlehood in more prominent ways. You don't need to fill up all of your time by intentionally dating. You do not need to be constantly in active pursuit of finding a partner. I think I'm probably unintentionally dating right now. I'm not actively in pursuit of it, but I'm open-minded if something were to happen. I do feel ready for a relationship, but I'm not boots on the ground trying to make shit happen right now, you know? I'm not looking for anyone right now. I'm perfectly content to just be alone at the minute, but if it happens, it happens. I won't stop fate. I won't stand in my own way. Will dating become more intentional for me again at some point? Yeah, I'm sure. But when that time comes, will I be back on a dating app? I really don't think so. I think I'm done with dating apps. I'm over it. You lost me as a customer. Fuck. That really sucks for you. I mean, that's one less person. The percentages are down now for who's looking for a relationship on your app. And to be honest with you, I think that's only gonna continue being true as time goes on. So with that, I bid a not so fond farewell to the era of the dating app. If you want to see more of me, I do have a podcast, Emotionally Online, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Maddie Dragsbaek if you want to see more of my day-to-day life throughout the week. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.